the I'm not.
For Flabonga, month-old vacuable. With Dale and Tony breaking all the rules. Talking tech, biz, and straight up chaos. Quick fire guests, oh yeah, we slay those.
Insert millennial pause here. Good afternoon. My name is Dale Rodriguez, and this is Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got my awesome guest.
Hi, it's Debbie, and I'm hoping to be a good guest.
You are a great guest. So for those of you who don't know, Debbie was one of the OG guests. I want to say like 2.5 years ago, like quite a while back, when the show was in its infancy. You came on the show, lit it up, got one of our highest views like ever. And then you've been a fan of the show for a while, prolific commenter. Thank you for doing that. And now you're back. And a lot has changed in those 2.5 years. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was because we said that Tony's at Accountex. Hi, Tony. And I think our first one was at Accountex, and you were in a cafe, and I was terrified.
Yeah, and you nailed it. You were awesome. Also, back then, you were like Queen Bee CEO of an asbestos company, and I know you still dabble, but you're not doing that full time anymore, are you?
No, I've managed to asbestos removal licensed. I sold in 2019. The yard and the waste transfer station 21, and the surveying company September 24, and I'm now fully exited from that at the end of March this year.
Fantastic. You know what? Let's ask a business question first, because accountants and lawyers often talk about exiting a business, and I'd love to get a business owner's or an exiteer's understanding of that process. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, childbirth being 10, water park being 1, how hard was exiting a business?
Fortunately for me, childbirth wasn't that bad. So exiting a business is, if you plan and prep, not too painful, different every time.
Okay.
The first one was challenging because the guy I sold to, I thought would look after my guys. I did a lot of research, took a lower figure for the company because I thought he'd look after them. And I swear that within 5 minutes of the ink being dry, this other person that I'd not been dealing with, still the same human, arrived, and he's got a rude name now. He ruined the business, and within about 18 months, no one was answering the phone and they're not trading anymore. So that was tough. But I did say to my guys, I'm not worried about them because they will always get a job elsewhere, and they did, because if they weren't any good, they wouldn't have been working for me.
That's fair play. But no, I get it. That's a big burden / responsibility, and obviously you're a compassionate person, so you felt it. Okay, can we talk about some of the positive spins of exiting and selling and all that stuff?
Yes, the positive bits are if you plan it properly. The last one I did was really smooth, lovely. The stars and the moon aligned. I advertised it on businessesforsale.com, which I thought was going to be a rubbish website, but it's not. And ironically, the guy that bought it lived half a mile away from me, even though it was a national site.
Oh, wow.
And it fit in. He does solar, mechanical engineering work, consultancy and so on, and it fit a slot for him. So that was good. And our expectations from each other were quite the same. So that was easy. So once that was done, working for someone else was interesting, obviously, for a little while. Even that, he said, this is brilliant. Can you just carry on doing your thing that you've done for the last 3 months whilst I do this stuff setting up on my part? So 3 months, nothing changed, even though it was his. And then I gradually dropped a day until I was out within 6 months. And then the final deal at the end of March this year. And it means I get to walk the dogs in the morning, and I can have breakfast slightly later, and my phone's not ringing off the hook, and I don't have to worry about everyone that works for me paying their mortgage. That's really nice. So yeah, that part of it's really good.
Going back a step, because I want to drill down into this. You gave an example of when it didn't work out the way you preferred. Then you said when you do it properly. Can you give some maybe 2 or 3 practical examples of what you mean by properly? So what exactly do you have to prepare for your business to exit? What things should they look at?
Doing your information memorandum, your IM.
Okay.
Getting all that. So that's essentially the sale particulars of your business are related to selling a house, because people will get that. But it is trying to make sure that when you talk to the person buying the company, they understand your perspective and what you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
You understand theirs and what they're trying to achieve. Because if the two don't marry up, just don't do it, back out.
Yeah.
Which they did, so that was good. And then keep in contact with each other and make sure that it's, these are the deals that are happening. This is how the company's running. This is the software. This is what I would do if I was going to continue running the company. We also had an agreement, because I am a control freak, just a bit. And I said to him, when he's going to do some decisions in the business, I will say things to him like, okay, I think this, and I think you need to be aware of it. And you are then entitled to say to me, brilliant, I've heard what you've said, but we're still going to do it my way.
Yep.
And I will say, absolutely fabulous on your effing head, be it if it goes wrong.
Yep.
Then I know I've done everything I can do to protect him. And if he chooses to go flat on his face, that's absolutely fine. And I apply the same rule to my children, which annoys them immensely because they hate me telling them stuff that they're going to ignore and then realise I was right in the first place.
Remind me again, how many children do you have?
I've got 3 stepkids and 2 biologicals, 10 grandchildren, and the stepkids I've known since they were 7, 6 and 5. So they're 5 kids, 10 grandkids.
Right. Of the kids, which one's your favourite?
The one that didn't go missing for the last 2 days had been good, because the one that's doing the big lap in Australia wasn't moving on Find My, freaked me out. And the last 2 days I've been talking to the police in Australia to track him down, and he's fine. So the 4 older kids always say the youngest one, it took us 4 goes to get a decent one.
That is brutal. That is brutal. And I'm going to ask you a really mean question. Of the grandchildren, which one's the favourite?
Ooh, that's a really, really tough one. It does depend on which one's kept in contact the most recently.
You know what? You're just like my mum, because my sister and I argue about who the favourite is. And I say, because I'm the firstborn, the archetype, I'm the favourite. But what we've learned was with our mother, it's whoever's called her the most in that, that month or that quarter, that one's the favourite. That one's the one
you
that
weren't
gets the favour.
credit. You were bothered. You were involved.
And the irony is, my dad is the opposite. The one who annoys him the least or pesters him the least is the favourite.
Yeah, that's probably the orphan, to be fair. I mean, out of the biologicals, it's easy because I say I've got a favourite son and a favourite daughter, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did joke, I think, when they were little to my husband of why did I have any children of my own? It was far easier with the ones I hadn't given birth to.
Yeah. And going back a step, you said your son is traveling around Australia, and we discussed this just before we went live. He's on Instagram, getting a following. Should we give him a shout out? Like, who is he? What's his name?
Anyone's into football, he's doing ball and backpack with the N in the middle. He's got ball and backpack therapy, which is POV football content, and that has blown up. I think it was 52 million views on his last video. And he's also got ball and backpack Let's Create. He wants to build a community, and he's got a link tree. So Ryan Hales, but he'll be on there as ball and backpack. And he's doing really, really well. And again, all the older kids, his siblings, did buy a house and get married. And they're looking at him going, why didn't we go and travel Southeast Asia last year, Australia this year? But he did do it.
Are they jealous? Are they jealous that he's got this freedom and this following?
I think they do look at it and go, I love the life I've got, but I'd also quite like that one too. Yeah. He's kicking a ball on a different beach every day. So
just living the dream.
If you like football, that's fab. For me, that would be hell. Sand, football, wetness, too much sun. Blech.
Can you ever have too much sun, Debbie?
I'm a sit in the shade person.
I get, to be fair, you and I have very different complexions, so yeah.
This is true. Yeah, I used to be nearer your complexion in my youth. Funnily enough, I would walk outside the door and sun hit me. That was it. And then I fell asleep in the sun at Joss Bay when I was 13 after being in salty water and burnt a lot. And my mum and dad still sent me to school the next day, whereas my friends' parents let her have the day off because my back was burnt and blistered. But you didn't use sunscreen, did you, in 1983?
I mean, I still don't use it now.
No, I don't like it. I don't like the sensation of it on my skin. It clogs up. The neurospicy in me freaks out.
This might be contrary to popular belief or what medical specialists tell me. I don't think I need it. Built-in sunscreen.
No, But if you don't literally sit and cook in it for 8 hours, nobody needs it. So I don't. I will go out and I'll walk. We've got a house in Fuerteventura. I'll walk to my friends without any sunscreen on, but when I get there, I sit in the shade. And then when I walk back, I'm in the sun getting vitamin D. And then I go in the shade. So,
Gotta love that vitamin D. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't grill.
So what's really unfair for other guests is how prepared you are for this show, because you've been on the show, you watch the show regularly. I can't do any pattern interruption whatsoever because you know the trade secrets. For example, if I ask you, Debbie, if there were one fictional character you could punch in the face with no repercussions, who would it be? Who are you punching, Debbie?
I've said everyone goes for Peppa Pig, and I fully agree with that. If I have to go for a fictional character, I've gone for Veruca Salt out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But then I thought I'd be controversial. So I have written my answer of a politician who actually listens and tries to get everyone's world to work together so that everybody ends up benefiting and doesn't play black ants against the red ants, if you've seen that analogy of the black ants and red ants in a jar.
I haven't, but I assume those different species of ants fight each other.
Red ants and black ants in a jar, perfectly happy till someone shakes the jar. Red ants think the black ants did it, black ants think the red ants did it, and they attack each other instead of the person that shook the jar.
Okay, I definitely want to explore that. Why do you want to punch or slap the politician that does a good job? That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
I think that was fictional character. Punch the ones that don't. So all of them, really.
Most of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a fictional character that doesn't exist. Because find me a politician that gives a monkeys.
I mean, I feel like politics has changed a lot in the last 20 years. Like, I feel like we've adopted a lot of Americanisms about popularity as opposed to serving the nation. And one thing I've noticed as well, right? When I was really little, political pundits would critique John Major, for example. He was the prime minister I grew up when I was a kid. But they would say something like, "We don't like what he's doing, but we respect him for being the prime minister." People have stopped adding that last bit. Do you know what I mean? There's less respect for the office, as it were.
Everything. So back to, I had 3 stepchildren. The only thing I could bring to the table to 3 kids that did not ever and probably never would love me unconditionally was consistency and respect. That's what I had to get from them. They're not going to love me indefinitely. And I think we should have the country, the world should be run by people who do it because they command respect for doing the right thing. It's that straightforward, and it just do the right thing.
But should we go deeper into this one, Debbie? Should we go deeper? Because you said
I'm going to say that lovely phrase. I don't really do politics because you've said that frequently recently, and I very
rarely don't. But like, you're fun to talk to. I think the problem is, right? Let's go politics a little bit, and let's go philosophy a little bit. When you say do the right thing, whose right thing?
That is, again, on my pad, I have put listen to everyone's perspective and then make it so that it all works for everybody. And that is possible. Still, but running a business,
it's not possible.
Explaining well is.
It's not possible. Some people have diametrically opposed views that will never be the same. You can't make it work for everyone.
You can't get 100% success on either side. There's got to be compromise. So
some things you can't compromise on.
You have to find a way forward. You can't just row with everybody all the time and drop bombs on them.
No, but come on, let's be honest. I'm not going to say them because they're very controversial. But there are some things that are so black and white. There's no form of compromise. It can't be. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. It's a yes or no.
Okay, so you should come to the table with the desire to work it out. How's that? You should at least be trying to solve the problems of the world. So for me, as a business owner, I kind of got, obviously the employees think the business owner is the devil incarnate.
Yeah, of course.
And the employer generally thinks, oh my God, all you do is ever bring me problems. But I used to say to my guys, when I roll my eyes at you, because I would, I'm rolling my eyes at the problem you brought me because I've now got to solve it, not you as the person that brought me the problem. So if we were all trying to solve problems so that people weren't in pain, I can't solve, I don't like red tops and you don't like blue tops, and I can't solve those. But surely we should be able to solve, I don't want you to be in pain. I want to be able to have this conversation with you again and row with you next week.
You make a valid point, Debbie. I will concede.
It's just try a bit more of that would be nice, wouldn't it? Really. I get your point. I've got a friend who will be a polar opposite and trying to get her to have an asbestos survey on her house, even though I had to do it for free. She still didn't do it. So I get your point.
That's a very generous offer of you. Hey, let me check to see if there's poison in your house that will give you lung cancer. Nah, I'm good, thanks.
I think
That's how that conversation went. Nah, I'm good.
I think the first time was she stuck a video on with her husband doing her floor tiles in the kitchen, 1930s bay window. There's asbestos in any pre-2000 house. Pretty much any, sorry, that's a correction. About 60% of pre-2000 houses. And that's figures from years ago before someone critiques me. But she was doing the floor tiles, so I messaged her separately. Did you have a mask on? So she sends me a picture of her hubby with a hanky on, which is funny if you don't know about the subject.
Well, no. You don't need to know about the subject to understand that's not going to do anything. Like even I, with my lack of asbestos knowledge, knows that putting a handkerchief over your mouth with gaps at the bottom,
it's not going to work.
Nothing. Yeah.
Then she had a fireplace wood burner, so everyone's having wood burners put in for the last few years. They're all of it. Did you get a survey done? Oh no. Oh well. Oops. And then the whole kitchen rip out, and the Artex ceiling will have had asbestos. Definitely will have had asbestos in it. Trace element. And yeah, we've had that conversation before.
Talking about my ceiling, yes. For those who don't know, my ceiling has Artex.
Having it done by a contractor. Legally, the contractor has to have a pre-refurb survey before they disturb a pre-2000 building. Asbestos survey. They didn't have one done. She went, nah. Free! I was going to do it for free! She's my friend. I've known her 25 years.
But do you know what's cool about you? I assume, and I get the impression, you're all still friends. You've disagreed on this, but you're still friends. I think that's the point you're trying to make, right? You can disagree on things, but still have a certain level of respect for when the disagreement
I think
happens.
that's it, as you said, about whether you should critique John Major. You should still respect the other person's opinion because it came from somewhere that you have no clue about. Walk a mile in my shoes is a phrase. So I haven't lived your life to today, and you haven't lived mine, and our perspectives are formed by our lives. So unless I listen to you to gain a different perspective, I'm never going to understand.
And don't take this the wrong way, Debbie, but I would hate to walk a mile in your shoes because one, if you've ever worn heels, I've done it. They're really hard to wear. Second of all, I'm way taller than you and darker. I love being taller and darker than you. It's great. I can reach stuff on shelves and it's great. I mean, how tall are you, by the way?
5'5" and a bit, depending on which leg I stand on.
Yeah, I got like an extra 5 inches on you. So again, it's just fantastic being taller.
Yes, this is it. And again, the phrase I have is, don't worry about walking a mile in my shoes, spend 5 minutes in my head. That will really freak you out.
I can only imagine. Game recognized game, Debbie. Game recognized game.
And our pre-chat was me asking how much I can swear, and you said I can a lot, but I'm trying to behave.
Let me open the gate for you. As much as you fucking well please. Happy now?
I'll do my fucking best to join you then.
I think that's like one of the first times I've done it in like a year and a half because this is LinkedIn and I got sales to make, deals to do.
There is that. We could get completely and utterly cancelled because we swore. Tony, why aren't you here? You're supposed to keep us behaving.
Yeah, no, he's busy trying to feed his wife and family with his day job. So selfish.
It's terrible, isn't it? But hopefully he'll go and see Jo Wood because she's there too with Zoe Whitman.
They're both cool people. Honestly, so obviously Tony and I talked by WhatsApp. He was genuinely gutted to not be on the show today. He was like, Debbie's on the show. Like, obviously all our guests are cool, all of you. But he was like, Debbie, she's next level. I want to talk to Debbie. I was like, sorry, bro.
Well, we do kind of eat lunch every Wednesday between 12 and 1 because that's literally it. You're in my diary for if I'm eating lunch at my desk, I'll put it on.
Yeah. All right. In honor of Tony, let's ask his question, which, as you know, has morphed over the last year. Debbie, tea, coffee, hot chocolate, or another hot beverage?
Oh, you caught me out because you were going to say tea, coffee, and I was going to say neither, but hot chocolate.
Okay.
So I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
I very, very rarely drink tea because we realised that causes me troubles that nobody likes to sit near me if I have too much tea. Took a few years to work it out. Exactly that. Hubby and I said, whenever we go on a plane, I offend everyone in the plane when I get on it. You can fill in the gaps with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing for 2 weeks on holiday. And the only thing that it was different is I didn't drink tea on holiday.
When you did have tea, did you have milk in it?
Yes, so the milk. So I occasionally will go, oh, I fancy a cup of tea, and I'll have a cup of tea now, but I don't. And again, when you
Okay.
worked in an office, there was always someone going, I'm making tea, do you want one? And I'd just say yes 20 times a day.
Okay, so you know the tea question. I'll ask you, when making your tea, Debbie, what is the order?
I've offended you with this too. So I have to put, if someone's having sugar, they have sugar and a splash of milk. See? Then they have the tea bag, but not touching the milk. It balances in the cup, so it goes in. It does brew the tea bag properly, and this is because a boss of mine many years ago said that if I did it the other way around, the glue from the tea bag sits on top of the cup. And when I do it without putting the milk in first, I can see the glue.
Let me just process what you said. So first of all, I can imagine that when you make a cup of tea, it takes longer than the average person because of that insane process.
I'm slightly, I think I've mentioned I'm neurospicy, which a friend of mine said they didn't like the phrase neurospicy. And I said, I don't mean I'm argumentative. I mean, I'm a bit of this and a bit of that. And I'm just,
yeah.
So yes, everything I do, if I butter a slice of bread, it has to go to the corners, and my mum sits there, I'm going to swear again, saying, you are not painting a fucking picture, Deborah.
My friend Ellie, she says she has a touch of the tism. That's what she likes to call it.
Yes,
Touch
my
of the tism.
daughter is diagnosed ADHD and autistic, and I'm definitely.
Yeah, but
don't know the diagnosis.
Respectfully, you and I are an age where it wasn't diagnosed back in the day, right? Like we've coped our whole lives, put in mechanisms in place, and got to where we are without the diagnosis, and we're doing all right.
Yes, and my coping strategies work very well for me and would probably not work for anyone else. And as I said last week's guest that was on, I think in the comment I put, I've suffered from an affliction called Debbie.
Yes, you did. It was quite funny.
Because we're all unique and individual, and even if you all got ADHD, it's all different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so your cup of tea, the way you make it, is insane.
Yes.
Cool, we will agree. The reason why no one's commenting, by the way, is because everyone is at accountants. Most of our audience are accountants and bookkeepers, so no one's here watching this. Like it's just you and me talking. The only difference is the internet is forever, so everything you've just said is going to be there forever.
There. Coffee, on the other hand, have to do coffee if I'm doing granules, which hubby now has a coffee machine. So
I'm just gonna mute you for a second because you said you do coffee from granules, which is just wrong. And I want everyone watching this back on Team Replay to comment and judge Debbie harshly for doing granules. I'll now unmute Debbie.
I said if.
If.
In the old days, if you did that, you put, before coffee became a thing, it was always granules, and then you had to put the milk in so you didn't burn the coffee. And everyone always said, I made a nice cup of coffee and I don't drink it. Yes, now we have a coffee machine, and my husband, who also never drank coffee, is a coffee snob.
I've progressed. So I used to drink just black coffee, a long black. And then my friend Josh was like, true coffee enthusiasts will just drink an espresso and have a glass of water, to the point where that's what I now order. And he works for a large coffee company who shall not be named. And because he's such a connoisseur, I think he's like a coffee sommelier, right? That's how good he is. He has a tap in his house that's like proper filtered water, and he showed me the difference between drinking espresso with regular tap water and his filtered water, and somehow water tastes better, which is unbelievable. So yeah, I'm now that level.
We've got 4 filters on our water, including the plastic one. And it does apparently taste different, and he's got a nice machine in the kitchen. And that was another phrase I said to a friend when my husband was heard to say, my architect, when he goes to people's houses, if there isn't a coffee machine on the side, he will say no.
Oh, so, I'm the same. Like if we were hanging out, Debbie, and I didn't know you, and you said, hey, come out to mine for coffee for whatever reason, and I didn't know the coffee situation, like if I hadn't seen what was your kitchen and you offered me a coffee, because I don't know what you've got, for the risk of getting granules, I'd be like, no, thank you, I'm not thirsty. I might be parched to the maximum level. But if I don't know what coffee situation is going on, I'm not risking getting granules, so I'd say no, thank you.
No, that's it. Whereas I've got friends who will have the Nespresso, I don't know, whatever the orange
espresso pods.
Yeah. The one that's nice.
Oh, I know you want. They think it's nicer because it's got the orange lid and the silver thing.
That's it.
But it's still trash.
Yeah, that's it. And again, hubby, it has indirectly saved me, because when he's out, he looks and goes, but my coffee at home's nicer, so I'll go home and have a cup.
Yeah.
So,
there's a good question. possibly too personal. Feel free not to answer it. How did you and your hubby meet? And second follow-up question: how romantic was the proposal?
Okay, so the meeting was weird as well, because I do weird. So we went to Oxley Manor for a wedding. I went with the DJ and his girlfriend, because I always went with the girlfriend and we started the dancing off if it was a bit weird.
Yep.
And he went with his friend, husband and wife. So they were three and they walked in. And this is the only time I've ever done it, then and before or since. He walked in and I looked and went, oh, I like that. I'm going to have some of that.
Loud enough for him to hear, or?
Yeah, it was Sugar Bear was in the charts, and there was the jump to the side and do the wiggly wiggly bit, and I was trying desperately. He'd split with his wife about 6 months before and was shell shocked from it. It was
Obviously, yeah.
Gross phrase to everybody. I genuinely swear I could have thrown my knickers at him and he wouldn't have known I fancied him.
Some men die of thirst while others drown.
So we had DJ mate. I was saying to him, put a slowie on, because again, it's back in 1989, May.
It was a good year. I remember it well.
That's it. And there was always, the music came on at the end of the night for the slow dance. He finally gave in, put it on. Dave, hubby's mate, said to him, "Are you going to ask her to dance or what?" And he was like, "She might not want to." "Do you want to dance or what?" Because I was used to going out and having the go away, leave me alone on my head. I don't.
Yeah, I get it.
Do that. Yeah. Started having a dance. 45 seconds later, the lights all came on auto at 11:45.
That's funny. It's amazing that you pursued him initially, though. That's a rare thing.
I didn't do that either, and I say I've never done since. So I ended up then trying to have a conversation. They were loading wedding presents into a car. I'd borrowed my dad's Ford Granada that night.
Great car.
I was saying to him, "Do you need help taking the presents to anywhere? Anything, just to keep it." Nothing. And he left and I left, and that was that. And then.
And this is long before mobile phones, Snapchat, or anything like that. So how did you get in touch after that?
So weirdly, unfortunately, his mate rang. I went back to DJ and girlfriend's house to stay the night. His mate, someone rang the phone at 5. I've got one of these memories. Sorry, it's very specific. 1:05 in the morning, phone rang, no answer. We didn't get there in time. Did it again the next day, and I jumped on it the second time it rang and answered. And they said, "Oh, is that Dave Stone?" I was like, "Do you mind? This is a female voice." And I got, "I know who that is." And it basically turned into, if my mate rang you, would you go out with him?
Literally that.
So my response was, if he's not man enough to bring me himself.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
That was it. So we went out for about 6 weeks in 1989, during which time we went to Ibiza for 2 weeks, and he was really quiet. And as you can all tell by now, I can chat. So I ran out of things to say because he was so quiet, and I'd say, "What did you do this weekend?" And it was all this and that. So, and I was 18 at the time. And I ended up looking at him apparently on our last date, and I said, "You're quiet and you're boring and I don't want to see you anymore."
That's fantastic. And then some 30 years later, you guys have still been married this long. So.
Yeah. 2 years went by when I went back with my ex, who's also not a particularly nice person. That's why he's an ex. And yeah, a friend of mine came round, and I'd been talking about him for the 2 years in between. He did write me a letter on my birthday and said, 8 months ago, I used to be married. The woman I said hello to on our last date was my ex-wife. Turned out they only live around the corner. So that was a bit difficult. And then nothing for the 2 years. And then I did drink back then. So shared a bottle of Malibu with a friend, a jar of maraschino cherries. She then rang him. I knew she wouldn't go through with it. So did she, but he picked up on the first ring. And yeah, then we went out as friends for about 3 weeks, and the rest is history.
Okay, so second question. How did he propose? I assume he proposed.
Yes, 1992-ish. Everything very trendy with the balloons that had teddy bears inside them. Engagement ring on a bit of cotton around a troll doll's neck, because apparently when we first met,
with the spiky hair.
When we first met, he said, "I've worked out what you remind me of." He said, "One of them dolls." A troll doll.
I mean, the man's got away with words. You know what? Your husband has got so much game. He ignored you when you pursued him. didn't talk much, and proposed to you with a troll doll and said you look like a troll doll, and he's still with you. Like he must be shockingly handsome as well. That's what it must be.
I think he is, but he doesn't. We both have imposter syndrome, completely and utterly. And we were both, if we'd have tried to stay together the first time we met, it would not have worked because we were both broken. But we've done okay being broken together. We're now not broken. We're just
two broken pieces make a whole.
That's it. We're just a bit nuts. He's grounded, so I tend to end up, I'm the prepare for tomorrow and he's the live for today. And between us, he makes me enjoy myself and I make sure we can pay for it.
That seems like a good mix. We've stopped talking about business, Debbie. So usually I ask this at the end, but I'm going to switch it up. Do you have any questions for me?
I do, because you always do coffee and biscuits and things like that. So mine was, what's your favourite chocolate bar? Because you've never done that one. Ooh.
Okay, let me think. So
hang on, if you had to eat one chocolate bar for
the rest of my life, yeah.
What chocolate bar would it be?
First of all, I don't really eat chocolate that much. I'm chocolatey enough. Sorry, I was terrible.
These are things you're allowed to say and I can't.
I mean, you can say it if you want, but
can I? Because I've got a friend of mine's husband who does frequently do the black don't crack phrase.
It's what it is. It would probably be some snooty 85% cocoa content chocolate, because I don't eat chocolate that much. When I do, I actually prefer the bitterness of the chocolate, not the sweetness of the chocolate.
That is my only vice, really, is I do like chocolate. Although I used to want...
Wait. I know you a little bit. You have more than one vice, Debbie.
I don't smoke, I don't drink. We don't talk about the other one. I do like going out for a dance. There you go. Live music and a boogie in trainers. It's fab.
So when you go out and you're going for the live music, what are you bopping to? What track comes on with you're out with your mates and you're like, that's my jam, and it goes off? What are you listening to?
By law, on a girls' night out, there has to be, and I will go to the DJ, Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Of course.
Baby G, Let Me Be Your Fantasy, and Salt and Pepper, Push It. Has to start the night.
All three are bangers. All three are iconic. All three are very confusing to people who aren't British, by the way. Like, sometimes we sing songs, they're like, why do you guys like it so much? Like, because we all know them. Like, we all know them. All of us. So those are your three songs that get you going.
A girl years ago, and there was Chicago's in Maidstone a long time ago. And I'd said to her, oh, you must come in there. I hadn't seen her for a long time. You must come in there. She said, I've seen you in there. You were off your face on the dance floor, headbanging to Bon Jovi. I'm like, no, stone cold sober, don't drink. So, no, seriously, no, absolutely fine. So if I'm jumping around like a mad thing and everyone thinks I'm drunk, does it matter that I'm not?
That's a very deep and philosophical question. I would say no. It doesn't matter. You're on a good time.
And they're all drunk and won't remember the next day anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay, so work question. You're not doing asbestos anymore, per se. You've got your hand in the game, but you're not really your main thing. What is your main thing now? Because are you consulting now? Are you helping other people?
Yeah, anything. Preferably tradies, I think, because they suit me. I understand getting to site and the challenges and that side of things. And they are usually, a carpenter's usually a brilliant carpenter, plumber's usually a brilliant plumber, etc. But they're not very good at running a business. Agreed.
That's, yeah, 100%.
So if you can take the pain out of it and set it up so it's pretty much automated, and you just say to them, click this, that'll issue your invoice for you. Making tax digital obviously is now coming in. And that really, really helps. And it's really satisfying to just say to them, here's this little suite of things, use those and your life will become easier.
Yep. Free agent, for example.
Yes, I like free agent. So that is one of the things I say to everybody, because if you have a NatWest backed bank account,
yes.
So I had metal, for example, METT. I had metal when I set up on my own, and had free agent because it's a free accounts package that comes with it. So everyone I talk to, pretty much I steer them down that route, because it is a really
AI, please clip this piece up, because that'll make Tony happy and make Tony's overlords happy. Look at that.
It is a really good system. It took me an adjustment to get used to going from zero to free agent, because muscle memory on the screen was I knew where everything was on zero. But once you work out where those things are in free agent, it's free. So why
I
wouldn't I
got one
use
for
it?
you. What advice would you give to these people who make bookkeeping / accounting software as a business owner? What irks you, what grinds your gears, and be like, what's this one thing to make it a little bit better?
Within Xero, it was the fact that you couldn't departmentalize the default email. So if you were sending a purchase order, you wanted to be able to send that to a sales department. But if you were sending a statement, you wanted to be able to send it to the client. You can't default it. So you can add contacts in it,
Mhm.
but I don't understand why, because I can't use them for the purpose I would have added them for. So I did raise that with them at the time. Don't have to do that personally anymore, so I haven't come across that as a problem. And the biggest challenges are for the small businesses, the CRM systems that when you test them,
Mhm.
CRM Plus, when you test them, I have to immerse myself for 2 to 3 days in it to then go, yeah, that doesn't work. I've just wasted 3 days. And then you've got to go and find another system to try and go through it all. And yet to me, I had one I did myself, but it was on my own server. So I had a system that ran for 20 odd years. And everyone in my industry, trades-wise, said, can I have that? And I'm like, no, it's like Jenga. It's broken, it's old, but it's still better than everything that's out there. I know, but it needs me to tweak it. And I cannot find a way of replicating it in the cloud so that everybody can have it.
If you want, I know a guy that can maybe help you do that. 2
See,
guys,
I would
actually.
love to find someone that wants to do just a joint venture, solve the problem, because I've got so many clients who want it. But I don't want to run an IT company. I'm supposed to be retiring.
No, I get it. I reckon I could find. I've got 2 guys who are developers. One runs his own company. He'd happily work with you, and then do
Yeah,
all the hard work, and you can take the cream off the top, I guess.
side hustle would be great. And again, they just need to set it all up, understand why I want it set the way I want it, because I've done it for 20 odd years, and just make it happen. And that's what happened when I designed this system. I said to the guy, program it, and he did it. And then I said, now make it do that, now make it do that, now make it do that. And it was brilliant. But he's
Have you
also
named this system?
I did, and I did own a company at one point that was running it a bit. So it's built IT for the IT environment, for the built environment.
Got it.
So anything to do with a building.
Anything to do with a building.
And it should have grown into that. Anything to do with the building, because the building's the client. The FM company changes, the occupants change, the suppliers change. The building is always going to be there. And no one programs for the building. So I've just given away a trade secret, really, there. But yeah, nobody programs with the building in mind. They program with the sales pipeline. And yet, if you follow your process of providing a service, your pipeline kind of happens anyway.
I mean, I'm a big fan of a sales pipeline. It's kind of my thing, so I like them.
But if you're known for doing your job well, they'll just follow through the pipeline process, whatever.
True. Yeah. I guess the pipeline is there for people who are new to sales as well, right? You have a fixed way of doing it, so you can teach them how to do it.
Yes, that's it. It's useful as this level, being able to look and go, well, that's what's happening. But the actual activity operationally of doing it is the activity creates the pipeline report in my head, almost.
Yeah, I guess for me, like looking at sales pipelines and like the relevant variables and levers you can pull, it's figuring out what has and hasn't worked. So if you've got like 3 salespeople and 2 are doing well and the third one isn't, and they've all gone to the same events or similar events, why is the third person not doing so well? It could be a case of you're not following up fast enough, and that's what the pipeline's for. It's like you send your emails 2 days instead of 3 days, or you know what I mean? Just small tweaks like that.
That's
so for example, if I know for a fact that if you try and sell to accountants and bookkeepers in December and January, you're going to get 0 sales. Now, you don't need a pipeline to show you that, but like you can see it on the forecast. You'll see seasonal variation. So,
yeah, I think I had that when I applied for a grant many years ago, and I filled all the form in from my gut, because I did manual books up till 2015, double entry bookkeeping with handwritten books.
But they had computers then, Debbie.
And I used the computer.
You must have been a nightmare a client for like the accountant and the bookkeeper, like doing the books on paper in 20. That's absurd.
It was, but I did do it into my ICT system, so it would generate invoices, it would do statements, and I did everything on an Excel spreadsheet. But it was the ledger sheets on an Excel spreadsheet, so it kind of worked, and it was really, really useful. But yeah, trying to do your books and so on like that was I found it quite rewarding. I knew everything balanced. It worked.
Cool. And that's the difference between you and I, Debbie. I don't like attention to detail. I don't.
No.
Nope.
I am detail. So that's, I've just remembered where I was heading. Menopause brain, sorry. Was me applying for the grant. I did all the stuff with the gut reaction. He came back a year later because to get the grant, you have to have hit certain milestones, employed 2 people, to increase your turnover. I was within 2% on every answer, and I've done it from my gut, not from anything other than I'm pretty sure I'm going to manage to achieve this next year.
And you did. Congrats.
And I did. That's it. But again, that's it. That's the thing of the book, The Secret, as well, where you decide what it is you want, you let the universe know. There's apparently, again, in my world, there's a medical reason that works, is your RAS at the back of your brain. Wish I could remember what RAS stood for. It's your gatekeeper to your brain, so your attention switches. Okay. And the example it gave is if you were trying to find a yellow Jeep, and someone in the cafe mentioned yellow Jeep over there, your RAS would go, do I need that information? Hang on a minute. And it would not listen, and it would flick over and go, do I need that? No, I don't, and come back. So it helps you recognize opportunity. So if you've decided I want to achieve this, your RAS will go, you need that information, you need that information, you need that, and you build it. And that is the medical reason The Secret works.
You know, my dad has a similar philosophy. He told me this all the time. He's like, Dale, if you want to do something, you're going to do it. Like, I'm making a very simple analogy what you just said, but like, he's like, yeah, if you want to do it, you're right. You'll focus on it. Your brain will pick up on things that will help you do that, and you'll be focused. Because you're focused on it, you'll hear those things. So I kind of get what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah, that's it. It shows you the path. So I had someone, because I tried to recreate the IT system a couple of times and people didn't get it, and I did spend quite a lot of money on it. And one of my employees did say to me, so it's like you've got a BMW, an M3 parked outside and no key because you spent 60k and it doesn't work. But I'd rather try. If I don't keep trying, it's never going to work, is it? I'll never get the key.
True. BMW M3, good choice of car. You're a car person.
I do like cars. My dad published a magazine for the automotive industry, so most of my childhood was at Brands Hatch.
That's awesome. All right. Okay. Top 3 cars in your car garage if money was no object.
I would love an Aston Martin DB9.
Good choice.
Bentley Continental is really pretty.
Okay. And
I can't decide between a Mustang and a Porsche 911 because I'd want something to sling around as well.
Okay, good choices. Do you want to hear mine?
Go on.
So the Ferrari F40, because that was the supercar of my era as a child. Then we've got the Skyline 34 GTR because that's the Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline. It's the Nissan Skyline, yeah. Nissan Skyline. It's just a banging car. It's ridiculous. And then here's one that's a bit of a weird one. It's not expensive, but a 1988 2.8 litre Ford Capri Laser.
See, my husband had a black Capri when I met him.
See, I knew I liked him. I knew he was going to be a cool dude.
Yeah, Capri's are good. Although the new shape one is criminal.
You can't call it a Capri. It's diabolical. It doesn't have the long bonnet. It can turn well. Like it's not a Capri, and it's an insult to the name Capri. Also, here's a random thought: why do we say Ford Capri but they say Capri Sun?
Ooh, I have no idea.
We say Ford Capri, not Ford Capri.
Marketing and advertising. We don't say do it. Why is a Dacia called a Dacia when it's spelled Dacia?
I assume because it's not an English word and we pronounce it
exactly. And I look at it and just think, but it says Dacia, and that sounds nice rather than.
But we do that all the time, though, don't we? Like Paris isn't actually Paris, is it? It's Paris.
True. So, what was your first car?
A 2006 Honda Civic.
Oh, nice! It did the job.
So I didn't pass my test till I was 25. So I learned to drive on friends' farms when I was like 12, 13. So I could drive. I could do manual and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just couldn't legally drive. So I passed my test. I did like one of those 10-hour crash courses in learning just to make sure I was safe. And I was already the guy was like, "How can you drive?" I was like, "I drove on a farm," and then I passed my test first time. So.
See, that backfired for me because I'd driven rallycross cars up until driving license, so I had 4 tests.
I can imagine you were trying to drive it like you stole it, right?
I tried to do
handbrake turns in Maidstone and shit. Like what? Like.
It felt very much like the bloke doing the test was looking, going, you know how to drive a car, but you're kind of breaking the rules, because obviously I crossed my hands occasionally. I tried to do it well. I did actually hit a car on my third test.
How badly did you hit the car? Like a little rear end shunt or a scrape on the side, or how?
It was a shunt. I had my first car was an Austin Allegro.
Oh wow.
Yeah, S plate, really old. And I took my test in a Micra, Nissan Micra, and the bumper on the Allegro was about that big, and on the Micra was about that big chunky bumper. And we were outside the test thing. I'd done all of my test, and I pulled up outside, and I rolled to the car in front and tapped the bumper because it was different. And the examiner was a guy called Tappenden, who everyone was terrified of where I live. And he looked at me and went, so then when I had my fourth test, I had him again. And I swear the man looked at me and went, just don't hit anything. He didn't say it. And he had to do the questions in the car at the end, and he showed me a right turn junction. He said, there, talk to me about that. And I was like, well, like what? By then I thought I'd failed again. So 18, gobby. Like what? He said, what don't you do? So I said, hit the cars coming the other way.
I mean, technically correct. Technically correct.
And he said, well, yes, but also don't cross the dotted line in the middle. You did it 4 times. Don't do it again. I'm pleased to say you've passed. So I think people didn't like him because he passed you if you could drive, whereas the other examiners passed you if you could pass the test.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is a difference.
I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly distracted as you're talking because you mentioned an Austin Allegro. It made me think of my dad's Austrian Maestro that he had years and years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That was a terrible car.
They were bad cars, and I only had it because horrible ex's sister had one, and I thought it looked cool. And I look at it now and I just think it did not look cool.
I remember my dad's car having a choke. Do you remember a choke?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I had a Mark 5 called Tina with a twin choke at one point as well.
Okay, can you explain what a choke is to the younger audience, the ones who might be listening?
Golly, had to let more petrol in, I think, than air. More petrol into the engine.
I think that's what it is as well. Yeah. When the engine's cold, it had to have like the fuel mixture ratio was different, and you have to pull it out.
And as you were going down the road, you had to think, oh, sugar, I haven't put the choke back in, otherwise you flooded your engine. Yeah, and I could change a rotary cap, and I had an alternator that ended up ruining my battery because I got a new alternator, changed it, and that was also broken. So that was fun. That was in the days when you could go under the bonnet and fix your own car.
Yep, I've had that problem recently. 2 weeks ago, my car died because the head gasket has possibly blown, and it's going to cost £700 to look at it. And the worst case scenario, it's like £2,000 to fix it, and the car's only worth £3,000. And the reason why it's going to cost £3,000 to fix it is because no one actually machines like heads anymore, like head gaskets. No one does it, so it's like I think it's sent off to be done specially.
Okay, if you watch, there's a American guy, I can't think what is road recovery or something like that. He would cut a gasket temporarily. He said it works well enough if you cut it out some cardboard and stick it in.
What?
Road rescue, I think it's called. He literally does the bare minimum to get the car back on the road.
What? You said cardboard? That's the bit I'm confused about.
I think it was pretty much pressed cardboard. I mean, it was a decent bit.
Yeah.
Either way, he literally took the old one out, cut it out, stuck it on there. It did the job well enough to get the car back on the road. So I think it's called Road Rescue. Very cool. And he is really good program to watch to learn how not to fix your car, but if you need to just get it on the road, it would be all right. But I've got a BMW i3 now that is 13 years old, 14 plate.
Nice.
So I was an early adopter of a fully electric car.
And how did you find it?
I like it, but then I only have to do, at the time I did sort of 7 miles a day to and from work. So it's a city car. So when I bought it, it did 90 on a full charge in the summer and 70 in the winter. And now it does 55, 60 in the summer and maybe 30 in the winter.
That's atrocious. As in it does 30 miles in the winter and then the battery dies.
Yeah. And the bit that I didn't realise is the auxiliary battery had, I think it had been the same one for 12 years, which is a bit weird. And it was starting to drain the car battery. So when we changed the auxiliary battery, my range went up.
No, I test drove a Tesla a couple of months ago and I'm not a fan.
No, I like the instant thing. So when I first got it, say early adopter, everyone calls my car because you get in it, it's 0 to 60 and 7.2, and I'll beat a Mini Cooper S off the line.
Yep.
And I'll pootle along like the milk float and then floor it, and everyone goes when I'm in the car with them. So I love it for that, and for small journeys and me nipping about, it's just a nice golf cart.
Well, you say for small journeys, that's all it can do. Debbie.
Yeah.
That's all it can do. Like, it can't go any further.
Whereas hubby has now got a Mercedes. He's changed, so he's got a car because it goes rah.
Oh, he likes the growliness, like a V8 in there going on.
Yeah, I can't remember which blooming Merc it is. I should try and have a look on the app to try and remember what it's called. But it's a good one, and he did it because it makes the growly noise.
If I can afford one, I'm going to look at one of the Hyundai 6Ns or 5Ns. They've got simulated gear shifting.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a AMG GLA 45 S4 Matic Plus. There you go. That's why I couldn't remember what it was called.
Basically, when you say AMG, that's their racing branch. It's going to be a very growly car.
GLA, and it does drive nicely. It sits nicely, and it does go raw.
Yeah.
And his motorbikes go, putt, 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 putt as well.
Putt, 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 putt.
Well, it's not that. It's more of the growly noise on his motorbike. So he's got 3 or 4 at the minute.
That's cool. Do you have a favorite
child?
Do you have a motorcycle? Like, do you like bikes as well, or
I
his thing?
Did, yeah. I had a Honda Hornet, and I passed my test to see the look on his face when I could ride his bike up the road. So he had a nice 1,000 Rex that I took out. But unfortunately, I've not gone on a bike for probably 10 years odd, maybe more now, because I fell off it in Yalding. Came off it. Not overly badly, broke my ankle, broke my wrist. But I was only doing about 25 around a bend, and there's a sweeping bend in Yalding that does a beautiful curve, and then halfway through it turns left.
Right.
On my Hornet, I'd have launched it round and gone round it, but I was test driving a Harley 48 and the front pegs got stuck in the road, fishtailed me and spat me off at about 25 miles an hour. So I slid across the junction as a car came the other way, and you start doing that, 10, 20 seconds, and I'd have been under a road at that. But I would have got on a bike again, except hubby threw out all my gear because my boots were scratched, my leathers were scratched, my lid had a scratch, the gloves were scratched, so I was left with a jacket. And I'd sold my Hornet because I was buying a Harley, so I was between bikes and between safety gear, and I just never got around to it again. But I do like them.
Fair play, fair play. Again, advice. Not legally, no. Again, on someone else's property and land, I've ridden motorcycles, yes.
Yeah.
But not on any legal roads. No,
that was pretty good. I've got to work out if I've got anything else I was going to rant about, actually. I was going to rant, but that's a consultancy accountant question.
Go for it.
Which is not you.
Oh.
Other part I've got the raving hump about is, and I don't know how many people know this, inheritance tax on your pension is coming into play in April 2027.
Yeah, it's pretty shit, isn't it?
I planned all of my life so that my pension was built, so that it's outside of my inheritance, so that I can spend what I've got, and then if I do pop my clogs, there's some money left for my kids. Now I'm going to have to pay 40% inheritance tax on it that will take me over a load of brackets that's going to make me really, really cross. So that's the thing I think everyone needs to know about, because you also then pay income tax on it. So it's 66% that they're going to take from my pension.
I wasn't aware of the details, but thank you for sharing that. We'll clip that one up. Anything else on your mind?
No, just the neurospicy stuff that's fun, where people think it's a bad thing and it's actually quite a good thing because each person's personality fits a different role.
Cool. I mean, do you want to elaborate on that, or just we leave it there and we hit end stream?
Yeah, daughter was diagnosed, well, I was told she was dyslexic when she was 7. Turns out all of the dyslexia in 2003-ish is now under the ADHD umbrella in my world. What she had as an affliction is moved. And I just spent all of my time saying to her, it doesn't mean you can't, darling. It just means you have to try harder. And most of our clients use us because I think outside the box. So it's a good thing. We had a job where we're working in Hammersmith Hospital removing asbestos. And you have to work in an airtight enclosure, obviously. And it was 31 degrees because you were down with all the pipe work on. Couldn't turn the stuff off because it's a hospital. And I have no problem with asking the stupid questions. So I stood there going, can't we use an aircon unit? And of course, everyone's gone, oh, we can't put an aircon unit in a really, really, you know, controlled environment. No, it's sucking air into the enclosure towards the neck. Can we not make it suck cold air in so that it's, oh yeah. And we went from 31 degrees to 21 degrees. Everyone was fine until the cleaner turned it off on Friday and it was hot again come Monday. But you need to think outside the box.
Okay.
So don't think of it as an affliction, it's a benefit.
Anything else? One final nugget. Was that the nugget you want to end on?
That was my nugget. I think I've not got on my soapbox. I've tried to be really good. Oh, anyone that doesn't like doing their day job and wants to have a bit more flexibility, look up Baby Cloud, because the franchise opportunities at the moment are fabulous. So it's a lady who has sensory type classes, baby classes, and she's got 5 franchisees now. So she's done it, proved the model with the class herself, proved the model with franchisees, and she's now growing it. But it's a lot cheaper than it would normally be. So there's a nugget.